Seems
You
like the
ready?
right thing. I'm in.
Seems like the right thing to do. Hey everyone, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy here. We are at the 2017 Glassblown Open. I'm joined by the famous J. Ray.
Famous.
I wasn't gonna go there, buddy. Hopefully everyone is here and watching. I'm gonna do a few quick things to make sure that the volume is good. It sounds like they actually have cut some music. J. Ray, give everyone some insights. Where are we and what's going on here? It's Wednesday night.
We are here at the Bourbon Cowboy. We just got done with the players meeting, the welcome, getting ready to start round one of the 2017 Glassblown Open.
So, a lot of conversation, especially from our tournament director, Doug Bjerkes, talked about some weather. And anytime you're in this area, especially in the springtime, weather has to be on your mind. What are we gonna see?
It's, tomorrow looks pretty good. Friday looks like half the day is going to be good. Saturday is going to be what appears to be monsoon type weather, high winds and 100% chance of rain. So it will be, last year we had that at Jones East during the Glassblown Open, and it was pretty miserable for the players. But it's going to challenge everybody, mentally, physically. It's going to be a lot colder temperatures than what we practiced in all week.
I'll say just that, exactly. We got to town yesterday, Chad and I drove 8-10 hours, whatever it was, and we were going from 75 down to 72, 66, and all of a sudden we got here and we're like, wow, it's cold out.
Yep. Yeah.
And it was chilly today.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, last night when we got ready, I'm staying with Eagle and Simon and some of the other guys, and we rented this house, and we all got home and we were hot. We opened the windows up, turned the fan on, and at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're all freezing to death, getting up, fixing things. Yeah, I mean, the temperature dropped 20 degrees yesterday between, 5 o'clock in the evening and 2 o'clock in the morning. So.
And it's not going to recover.
It's not.
We're not going to.
We're looking at 50s.
50 degrees.
And 40s at night, yep.
Call it an old joke or not, but that's why I pack my winter layer all year.
Right, you and me both.
Out today at Ope, I saw Kona Panis along with Rebecca Cox. They were out there practicing in some brutal winds, and they were looking for hand warmers, which makes me chuckle because, from Wisconsin, hand warmers, I hand out hand warmers, but that's at a November tournament where it might be 10 degrees or 5 degrees.
Right.
So 50s, I understand is chilly for her, for Kona specifically, being from SoCal.
Sure.
But people are they're running around town looking for ways to stay warm, thermals, you name it.
I mean, the store was a madhouse this morning. At 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock when we went through there, I mean, everybody's in there buying umbrellas, jackets, anything long sleeve that we have. So, this is just the GBO is so amazing. It always lives up to the hype. But unfortunately, Kansas weather, man, you're in the plains, and it's really unpredictable. So it just adds another element to the competition.
Well, it certainly does. So did I understand you? Was there a little audible hint in my good ear? Are you playing this weekend?
I am.
How in the world does that happen?
Okay, so this is a bit of contentment maybe for some other DD employees. But I do this every day the rest of the year, running events and things like that. So this is kind of a mini vacation for me, getting to be here. And obviously, I do everything I can to help out and participate and be a team player. So I did a lot of stuff leading up to this, and I'll be around helping with the junior event Sunday and running some clinics out there with some other team members. So we're excited about everything that's going on, and I'm excited that, I'm far from a disc golfer these days. You know how that goes. We do a lot more work than we do playing, but it's fun to get out and compete with these guys and just get to experience this kind of tournament because we don't get to do that so often.
So for those who don't know, I know your background, your history, your story, but give everyone an update in case they maybe aren't already familiar with that beautiful face of yours. What do you do and how are you related and linked to DD?
I work for Dynamic Disc. I run one of the RVs, we have 4 now, but I do all the touring and promotion for DD. We run everything from C tiers to 2-disc challenges to doubles events to vending at Am Worlds, Pro Worlds, wherever we end up being. So my job is pretty much 9 months on the road and 3 months off sporadically throughout the year.
Okay, so it is actually a big deal, and that's what led to the question as to about you playing. It's a big deal because you're normally behind the scenes, grinding away, doing the work so that others can enjoy the tournament setting and scene.
That's right.
Just a little different this week.
It is. It's nice to be on the other side of it. There are a few events that I get to play every year. This one, Beaver State, a few others that are just, to me, they hold a solid place in my heart that I just don't ever want to miss those. And so those get to be my vacation. Instead of taking a couple weeks off and flying home and spending time, I stay out on the road and go play these events kind of on my off time.
Well, very, very much deserved for you to be out here. Do you feel like you can even focus or concentrate? Because
it's tough for me just because I am a very competitive person by nature. I used to be pretty solid at this game, but I don't get to spend the time and the effort putting it into my game as much as really at all. So this is getting to come out and practice for 3 or 4 days and go out and play some good solid practice rounds with some of the best players in the world. It really helps me try to kind of hone that in and I feel confident going into it. But with this weather, who knows? So
anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Just got to keep the putting together.
Dare I ask, and I'll probably ask this quite a bit. We're playing Ope for the first time, that people are seeing it live. But dare I ask, what's your favorite course here this weekend?
My favorite course is Jones East by far.
Jones East by far.
Jones East is
primarily designed by Eric McCabe?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, just about everything in this town has been designed by Eric.
Okay.
But yeah, I think all of the courses provide different challenges. Jones East to me is the best challenge of technical, distance, and scoreability. Like you have to have all the facets. You have to have controlled distance. You have to have accuracy. It challenges your shot shaping a lot more than say country club where it's a lot more wide open shots. I feel like Jones East is much more of a shot maker's golf course.
Yeah, there definitely is because there's OB, there's elevation, there's some blind shots, there's various trees. There's a lot of different components at that course.
Every hole.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a great course. It's one of my favorites. I compare Jones East to it's like a Milo McIver without the elevation change. It's a lot of long technical shots where you really have to hit your 430 foot shot, but land it in a 30-foot circle to have the best shot going forward.
Well, and I think the best example of that is a couple of the par fours. What is that? 5, 6, 7, all of those right in a row.
Yep.
Like the placement of those shots is very critical off the tee there because otherwise you can't even think about going for the birdie, and you may just have to say, okay, well, I'm just going to take a par here. So I totally agree with that.
Absolutely. Yep.
Very cool. If anybody's got any questions, of course, Jay Ray's here and live, ready to go, so we can take any questions. Good to see you guys out there. Share the link, let everyone know. This is pretty much the format I'm going to be doing the next few nights, except for now I think I've got down what I'm doing and we got the setup. I'm going to rotate around, find the action. There's action somewhere every night here at the Glass Blown. What's your favorite part of the action besides the play?
Man, this year was a little bit different. Typically it's the bowling night, just because it's before the tournament starts.
Free bowling night. Free bowling. Everybody loves the F word. Free.
Flint Hills Lanes, yeah. And it's typically when players are still. It gets a little bit rowdy. It was the site of the famous Paige Pierce.
Yes.
Spare pickup with I believe it was a Pro Boss.
Something like that.
Pro Destroyer or something that they found.
Yep. Shout out to DG Mike, of course. Mike Kierke for that shot, getting the shot.
And then this year we had Simon and Eagle throwing putters, trying to a full set of pins. I think the most they knocked down were 5 or 6. But
please tell me there was video.
Oh yeah, it's out there for sure. I mean they were. But this year they did. We had the beer fest going on that kind of overlapped those two events, and so I think people split time, and it wasn't the mass group of people at one time at the bowling like it usually is.
Okay.
So, but no, I mean every night there's something. We're at Bourbon Cowboy tonight. They're doing stuff like this every night. We got free pool. I think they're doing. Is it the bull riding a bull or something?
Mechanical
like that?
bull riding.
Yeah.
I believe it's tomorrow night.
Okay.
And if you're here for the event, you can attempt, I guess. Is that the right word?
I know Doug Bjerkes.
Doug Bjerkes is all over it.
Yeah. So.
And I may have made a hashtag or two about come on, ride that train or a bull or whatever. But yeah, that's going to be going, I believe, tomorrow night. So there's going to have to be some video of some bull riding, of course.
Absolutely.
So right now, what's going on in the Bourbon Cowboy, who's been a huge supporter and sponsor here, and sadly enough, this is just my first time finally in here. There's actually an 18-hole mini golf course set up.
Right.
We had to make a course adjustment to be up here on the stage. This is a big bull hat behind us. We had to make an adjustment for one of the holes, for one or two of the mini golf holes, but you can play an 18-hole mini golf course right here. They're all labeled, what hole they are and where the tee area is. So all week long you can play mini golf in here. As you mentioned, there's free pool. When I was here at 6 o'clock, right around 6 o'clock, Simon Lizotte was in here. He loves to get his billiards on.
Yep.
And it's just a really good time, a good atmosphere. There's got to be at least 100 golfers in here right now.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, the whole upstairs looks pretty full up there. So
yeah, so people everywhere.
Yeah, I think players meeting just ended a few minutes ago.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people were going to grab something to eat, and I'm sure that this place will steadily start filling up.
I did, and maybe you can provide a little insight. I was out of the loop today. I was working all day. I said, Paige, any chance you're stopping by the Bourbon Cowboy tonight? I'm going to do a podcast, and I'll admit I slipped that she is playing at 8:40 in the morning, but she looked at me and she said, no chance. And
I had the same conversation with her about 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
And she's like, no, but I know they're getting out tomorrow night. So.
Well, it sounded like. She said, I got 3 hours of sleep last night.
That's true.
Is there a story I don't know there?
Well,
there's got to be.
For most of you guys don't know, Paige's best friend, Beth Klein, is the wife of one of our DD employees, Shane, our accountant. And so when Paige is in Emporia, she has this...
it's like homecoming.
It's homecoming. It's homecoming for her and Beth. So they, and Jackie Moe now has been indoctrinated into that group and
who's celebrating her birthday today.
Yes, it is. Happy birthday, Jackie.
Jackie, happy birthday. As 1,000 people sang it to you.
So they do. They tend to get real wild when they're here. But I think Paige is, she's ready to. She's had an awesome start to the season so far.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I know she really wants to get another glass trophy this year. So she's probably getting real focused tonight.
It's funny that tonight, where we were at the players' meeting, and thanks to the beautiful slideshow that they put together to accompany the speaking during the players' meeting, I know a lot of you saw that over on our live feed on Smashbox. And if you looked at the last, I'm going to say 5 or 6 women's champions, it went Pierce, Allen this year.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. And before that, I believe it said Val Jenkins, but it went Pierce, Allen. And so if you're going by the pattern, it's Jenkins. No,
right.
It could be. Absolutely, Val Jenkins. We know she's going to be out there playing hard, now sponsored and playing for Discraft. She's had a great week here releasing the beer, doing that. The slight headwind, Saison. So that's awesome to see. But again, if you're a pattern person, it was kind of funny to see that every other year battle.
And I think it's leading up to a really cool culmination of the start of the season, because obviously Paige has had a tremendous start. Sarah Holcomb has played really, really well coming out of the gate. Katrina kind of struggled in the first half, and she's kind of got it back together here the last few weeks, and so it's going to be exciting to see what the girls do this week.
Yeah.
And then outsiders, Jessica Weiss, some others that can jump right up in there.
Yeah, there's no Jen Allen, who is accustomed to playing in wind, is familiar with the area. She obviously has a good shot to do well. It's going to be a good battle. It always is. There's 4 women that are on the 840 card, which is considered the featured card per the voting. I know we talked about that a little bit last night. Deanne Arlen is out on the board asking about some of that as well. Let me see if I can go out. I want to make sure that I read everything off here correctly as I'm I'm taking a look at anytime you see weather forecast in an article, that's never good. It's never like, oh, hey guys, we're just letting you know it's going to be 75 and sunny every day. Well, it's usually not the case.
That there's been no talk of tornadoes yet, so We're hoping we're clear of that.
Okay, so out at Ope Lake tomorrow morning is where everything kicks off. The very first tee times go to Paige Bierkis, Nicole D, and Brandy Myers.
Yeah.
That's at 7:30. At the featured card that we speak of, that will also get spliced into the live broadcast. The feature card is, in fact, Katrina Allen, Jennifer Allen, Valerie Jenkins, and Paige Pierce. And those were the 4 that were voted in.
Right.
Maybe no surprises there, but those were the 4 that were voted in. And on the open side, and we talked again about this last night, so I want to recap quickly. On the open side, the featured card where Smashbox TV will be live will have Simon Lizotte, Eagle McMahon, Nate Sexton, and your 2016 World Champ,
Right.
Ricky Wysocki. And it was interesting because we talked last night. Somebody got outvoted.
Yeah.
No McBeast there.
I was gonna ask. I was a little shocked about that.
He's slipping. It's the engagement. I said it last night.
Right.
Hannah got him voted right off of there already.
Yep.
That's what all the haters out there
He
can
lost
say.
the female vote.
Yeah, that's exactly what Johnny said. So, but on the second to last card of the day, it's called the Champions card, and it includes the most recent champions of the event. So you're still going to be treated with, and through Central Coast as well, you're going to be treated with Cam Todd, last year's champ, Eric McCabe, Paul McBeth, and Kale Aviska.
Yeah.
So
I was a little bit shocked that Cam wasn't included on
Just pushed
the
right
featured
in.
card. Yeah.
Okay.
Just because he's the reigning champion. So, but I think it's cool to have the Champions card as well. Obviously, it gives Eric and Kale and those guys some due respect that they deserve for being past champions, as well as Paul. It'll be a fun, entertaining card. They'll have just as big a crowd as the feature card will later on in the day.
Well, it's going to be fun. And again, from a media perspective, just to make sure everyone's up to speed, thanks to a collaboration that we're working with Central Coast Disc Golf, they're going to be putting together, they're going to be filming, I'm not sure whom exactly, but they're going to be filming the women's featured card at 8:40 in the morning. And then Steve Dodge from the Disc Golf Pro Tour is going to be chopping it up, putting it together, getting it over to Johnny V. I think we have some things to figure out there, but getting it over to Johnny V, just like we've seen on the Pro Tour this year. And then we're going to bring that into the men's round.
Right.
So you're going to be watching disc golf the whole time, tons of golf, tons of play, thanks to Steve Dodge, the Pro Tour, Central Coast. Central Coast is also, I believe, going to be on, besides the women's featured card, but they're also going to be on the men's second card,
That's correct.
is what I believe. And then Jomez Productions is going to be on the men's featured card as well.
Right.
So those are John Hollingshead is going to be running around taking photos, your official photographer of the event, and then Dee Dee's going to be working on some stuff as well.
I know Bobby's got some stuff planned all week. I think the coverage is going to be second to none. I hope with it's rare that we get all of these companies combined, yourself, Central Coast, the rest of them, and that's our goal. It's also for locals, anybody in the area. It's going to be on local Channel 3 all week long, live coverage of the feature card and all day. I know they're doing some other things with CBS, I heard tonight. CBS Sports? I'm not really sure what that
yeah,
was.
many of you know John Duzler and the media efforts that he's put forth. John Duzler was in fact in charge of Disc Golf Planet TV, and now he's transitioning into some other roles, and one of which, and I'll admit I don't know all of the details, but it was mentioned in fact that he's working with someone to then help get it featured actually on a CBS show,
Yep.
on a CBS sports show. So
That's correct.
it'll be post-production. I'm not sure of the airing time. I don't know any other details, but I know they were here filming. I know they were talking to a few of our top players, and so I'm excited to hear more details about that as
absolutely.
well.
I think it'll be great. So yes, there are more people creeping in. I see Josh Barnhill and Simon over there playing pool.
I'm guessing at some point we're going to be having a conversation with one or both of them as well. Dion, I just wanted to update you on the board. This is a PDGA National Tour event. It's the second event on the National Tour for the 2017 season. It is not a Disc Golf Pro Tour event, but like you said, Steve Dodge, just graciously out of the goodness of his heart, I was trying to say, I feel like the Disc Golf Pro Tour really took coverage to another level with us on Smashbox, and from there, I said, yeah, we don't have that option. It would just require a lot more effort. And Steve Dodge said, I'll volunteer to do it. I'm going to be there doing the Festival of Flying Discs, and he said, I will edit it together for you guys. And working with Central Coast and Steve was the only way to make that happen.
Absolutely.
So huge shout out. Bobby shouldn't go too far because we're going to have to talk to him. Bobby Brown, Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
He's the man with all the answers. When
Some
it comes
other
to media
podcast
stuff.
as well. But Bobby Brown is here running around, so we're going to get him on the show to make sure all your Cool Daddy Slick Breeze fans are aware that Bobby's going to be here tonight. You got anything else to give me?
No, man, I'm stoked. I'm excited to play.
What time's your tee time? Do you know?
I am at 12:50 with Barsby, and I can't remember who else is on the card.
Okay, let me take a
I
quick
think Edwin,
look.
Idaho or...
Okay, so we've got Greg Barsby, rated 1013 out of Grass Valley, California. This is a 1250 card. Garrett Glass from Houston, rated 946. Ray, Jonathan Ray, rated 949.
Hey, leave that out there.
Oops, sorry. 100, add a zero.
9,490.
And Edwin Rodriguez from Idaho is going to be joining
him
you.
the other night. We bowled together, actually.
There it is.
So cool.
So there you go.
Yeah, it's Barsby's going to, keep it interesting as always.
He always does. He's never short of entertainment.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that. So, all right, I'm going to let you go. If you don't mind, maybe grabbing Cool Daddy. I'm going to grab this before you choke yourself, and I'll grab these.
All right, brother.
I'm going to turn that down. Thanks for joining us and opening the show, buddy. Jonathan Ray, folks. Catch him out on the road, driving around one of the many RVs that DD works with, and awesome guy. One of my favorite people to get into town, make sure I give a big hug to, and glad to do so. All right, taking a look at the board. I'm late. Who are we chatting with? I just told you that firearm. That was Jonathan Ray. You should set up the third cam so we can look around the Cowboy. That would require a little more effort. I'm kind of a solo show here, so unfortunately, that's not going to work out so well tonight, but we might get there. John Cinco's asking Dion where he's going to be. Am I hungover? That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Let's mic you up, buddy. Throw that right there. Throw those on. Bring your audio back, and welcome to the show.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Bobby Brown, Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. Do you need to make any social media posts? Everybody.
Oh my God. Oh, I don't even have my. Oh, that's my phone over there. I can't believe it.
Wow, that is a major media foul.
No kidding.
I've got my phone. I don't know if it was blowing up or what's going on. It's finally being charged, and things are going on out here. So, good to know. Well, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Things are just getting going.
Oh my gosh, yes. Of course, they've been busy since Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, now Wednesday. But tomorrow is tournament day, and I am so psyched, ready to see these guys play some disc golf.
Does it get any easier now that things are getting started tomorrow? I mean, you've done so much work leading into this, a ton of prep work on a lot of different levels. Do things slow down at all, or is it just it's going to maintain at this plateau for?
That's funny because I was talking to Anthony, the other media guy for DD, and we were looking at the schedule, and it's like we might have a little bit of a kind of a easy morning, but then as the day goes by and some of the the top names go out on the course, and we head out there, and then of course the evening events, it'll pick right back up.
Well, and that's just it. Is you have so many good players here, but then there's so many different stories that are going on. There's so many different things happening and stories that are going on. It's not just like, okay, well, you've got 4 great pro men here. I mean, you have this massive field of really, really talented. All the best players in the world are here, men's and women's side, and then there's literally almost 1,000 other people here that have their own stories.
Exactly.
And how do you even think about where you can focus? Because everybody wants a piece.
I know. You just a lot of times what happens is you'll hear of something happening. Someone will text me and say, "Did you see what's happening over here?" And I'll go over there to find out, so I can kind of follow the story there. You just gotta have to see the story happen and kind of, I guess, chase the story there. But yeah, there's people from everywhere. I think they mentioned 60 some odd people from different countries. People from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Ohio. You're right. All kinds of different stories coming into one place to try to to win or just to have a good time.
To be here for the experience.
Yeah.
And Rusco told us last night on the show that there are 45 states represented.
Wow.
And somebody did the math for us. I apologize, I don't recall who it was. Maybe it was Ronald, he's great like that.
Yeah.
But somebody did the math and figured out which 5 states weren't here. But there are 45 states represented. So.
I think that's awesome. And you know what? It's humbling that people would drive or fly or just take time off from work. I mean, I had one person come today tell me it was their first time here to Emporia for the Glassman Open, and they said from now on they're taking vacation to be here the whole week. It's exciting and it's humbling. It's amazing.
Well, I said it to Chad, who was coming here for the first time as our cameraman. I had said to him, this is one of those events that everyone looks forward to. And you think about Worlds, and it travels around, and Worlds, I attended 20 consecutive Worlds, plus a few extras actually, and I do always look forward to it, but it travels, and when you come to Emporia, you know what you're going to get, or you've learned what you're going to get, and it's not only is it consistent, but it steadily improves with something major or minor every single year. And again, it's a testament, I told Rusco last night, it's just a testament to the hard work and the energy and the effort that all of you guys put in. And you're blasting it out there. We can say, I do say this all the time, you can have the best tournament with the best players and the most payout on the best course in the world, but if there's not some media there, or a lot of media,
Yeah,
then,
they gotta know about
then
it.
It doesn't matter.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
talk is talk.
Right.
And you know, those people may enjoy it that are there, but you need the media. When you put together a media plan for this event, what are you thinking? Like, now there's so many different angles, but what are you thinking when you're like, okay, I got to assemble the media plan?
Really, it comes down to one sentence or phrase, and I hope this doesn't come across the wrong way to the viewers. But the way when I talk to everybody, the people that come do the media for us, I tell them, I want the people that are here to be excited that they're here because of everything they see being shared, and then I want the people that didn't make it to say, next time, I'm going to be right at my computer and I'm going to click that mouse and say the second it opens registration, I'm going to be there because I want to be part of that experience.
Now, I agree, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
The problem with that is you can't fit everybody.
No, you can't. You can't.
Like, there is a gentleman came up to me today. He was very, great accolades. Said he loves everything that we're doing. Great conversation, and he's like, I kicked my kids off the computer. I told them I pay the damn phone bill or the cable bill, the internet bill. I need it for 20 minutes here tonight to make sure I get registered for the Glassman Open. So when registration opened, that's where his focus is.
Yeah.
And I think there's people, unfortunately, that are just flat out shut out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a limitation of, obviously we'd love to have more people here, but a course can only fit so many people. A town can really only handle so many people coming in. So, all I can say is figure something out, get some kind of program to automatically get you in or something on your computer or something like that. I don't know, but I just love having people here, and I want more people here to be part of the excitement. What's interesting though is that, when we kind of get ready for it, honestly, I was looking at some of the stuff we were doing. We have you guys back, Jomez, Central Coast, and I didn't want to feel bad, but it was like, it's kind of the same thing. It's the same thing again. But then when I looked at the numbers of how many people have been here the first time, I think it's like 70, 80%. I mean, 80 may be pushing it, but it's close. People here the first time. So it's their first GBO experience. So we got to do what we can to make sure that it is a memorable experience.
What's your, dare I ask, what's your favorite part of the week?
I can't. You know what? I guess my favorite part of the week is when people come up and say they want to shake my hand, they want to say hello, they're excited to be here, and then when I ask them where they're from, and to hear all the different places that come here, and to hear them say, I've seen it on video, I've seen pictures, I wanted to come here, and the fact that they made that trip, I think that's amazing. It's awesome. And I hate to sound sappy, but I'm so thankful that we have the ability to bring over 1,000 people here for one reason, and that's to play some disc golf and have a good time.
Who would have thought? The little town of Emporia.
Oh gosh.
I mean,
Not me.
I know we make kind of the jokes, but yeah, if Rusco ran for mayor, does he have a shot at it?
He'd have a pretty good chance.
I mean,
a pretty good chance. People really like Rusco.
There's a lot of people that like him. He's done so much, I think, for the community. And I think about a term that gets thrown around when you get a little bit more serious about disc golf impact is economic impact.
Yeah.
And when you think about 1,000 or 1,100 plus, the spectators that come to town, and we were talking to Jay Ray earlier tonight, and he's like, all the people that are doing the shopping, not just with DD, but all the stores.
Right.
You know, whether it's Walmart, which has a lot of different things, but whatever the stores are, all the restaurants that we see posted in the app, the Bourbon Cowboy, Radius and Brickyard, all these places we've been and would continue to patronize. This is a massive, massive shot in the arm.
Right. There's one thing that we on the Disc Golf Answer podcast, we get a lot of times people ask.
Wait,
us,
what do you have?
We have a podcast.
Oh,
Disc Golf
that
Answer.
sounds cute. I should look for that. Okay, go on.
It's a little side hobby we do every now and then, so when we get time. We get a lot of people that ask us because of the Glass Blown Open. How do we build that in our community? So I want to make sure I give some useful stuff to the people, and because we do get that asked a lot. And you got to remember, the first one we did only had like 88 people. Now, for some places that's good, and I'm not, putting that down.
No, of course
When you
not.
compare 88 to 1,095 players, that's quite a difference. But we started little. We started where it was just two. I remember the first one that I came to film was 2009, and it was just like it almost, other than some music and the RV and tables, and Jeremy doing it his style, it was nothing like this. It was just people coming, playing, staying one night in a hotel, playing, and then taking off. So you got to start somewhere. You got to make your connections with the town, with the Chamber of Commerce, with local places like the bar, and then you just got to build that relationship. And I think it's awesome that we've been able to do that.
Well, again, one of my favorite parts of the app, and it's not even because I like to eat, but I'm seeing these as I'm scrolling through the app, the Glass Blown Open app. Again, the only event that we know of that's got its own dedicated app, which is so useful. But as you're scrolling through it, it's awesome that a business in there, it may say, we're such and such, Mexican restaurant.
Right.
Here's our special today.
Right.
Like, just thinking like, oh yeah, that's on that puts it in the forefront, because you can get a player's guide and something that you may flip through and be like, oh yeah, here's the sponsor, and they're all great, and you should certainly patronize them. But when there's an app that you're flipping through and it's like, here's today's special, immediately that's got to trigger a ton of people to be like, okay, I'm going to go there today. Or here's the wing special, or here's the beer special. It's just, I don't know, I love it. When I think I shared this with Doug from last night. We were closing down over at another great establishment, another bar over at Brickyard last night, and I was talking to one of the gentlemen, maybe one of the managers, and we said, oh, was it good for you tonight? Great to see golfers? And he said, we said, it wasn't a typical Tuesday night, huh? And he's like, that was like a good Saturday night.
Oh, really? Wow.
And so for any of you business owners or
you
bar
know
owners,
that, yeah.
especially on a Saturday night, that's probably his best night. So to me, like, as an entrepreneur and as a guy who, I say support those who support us, that makes me feel really good.
Right.
To know that, okay, the Brickyard, with all the things that they contribute, they definitely got some of that back. And not just financially, but their name and their just acknowledgement that they're a huge push as part of the event here, and they're also running the shuttle around.
Right. Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
it's great.
And what's good is that Emporia, we live in a small town, so a lot of these businesses can come together and support that. Where you go to a big tournament where there's 900 amateur players, but when you leave the players meeting or you leave the check-in, you feel like you're just back home because you're not as connected.
Yeah.
But here you still feel connected because everywhere you go, a business either recognizes that you're a disc golfer or that they're supporting disc golf. I mean, a week before the event, I was pulling into the drive-through and they noticed my dynamic disc. A week before, and I didn't even say anything. And she looked and she goes, "Oh, are you getting ready for the big event?"
You're
and I'm
like,
like,
if you only knew.
if you only knew. And then it happened again. She recognized my voice. I was making a checkup, a doctor's appointment, and she said, well, I have available April 29th. And I was like, well, I'm going to be a little busy that week, so maybe she's like, I thought I recognized your voice. Yeah, the disc golf tournament, are you guys ready for that? And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
A week before, and these people, the town is ready for us.
So I guess I have to then ask and follow up and say, do businesses, are they now at the point, has the table turned a little bit, instead of you going to them, are they now saying, hey, how do we get involved?
Yeah.
They are like, set up whether it's bowling or whether it's mini golf or whatever, we want to do X so that we can get on board.
Oh, yeah, in fact, an exact example is Casa Ramos, a Mexican restaurant out here.
Okay.
After last year's GBO had just ended, I was in the market for a new vehicle. And I answered an ad to go look at a vehicle. Found out that he was the owner of Casa Ramos.
Okay.
And we got to talking, and I said, I work for Dynamic Discs. And he goes, oh, you guys do the big glass blown thing. And I said, yeah, we do the big tournament. He goes, how do we get a part of that? Because that week we do the best week we ever do. He said, so how do we make sure that we are a part of that? And I was like, well, let me give you Doug's number and stuff like that. So yeah, they come to us now, which is really awesome.
Well, and today, again, because I run tournaments and because I like to eat, I was looking at a place and I thought, does anybody take advantage? And by that I mean, are there any of them that are like, nah, we're not going to be part of it, but we know we're going to reap the benefits? Do you have any? And here's my question, and I don't know if we're putting them on blast or not, but my question specifically is Jimmy John's.
Oh. No,
I know they were part of the event a few years ago.
Right.
Do you know if they're at all involved this year?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
I do know that in years past that they've actually taken little Jimmy John samples out to the players.
Okay.
And and just kind of a thing like, here, sample this, and then they tell them their specials and stuff like that. So
okay.
I don't know if they specifically were a sponsor or
okay, because
were you trying to the whole franchise?
No, I just meant that specific one. So right across the street, if you're not familiar.
Did they mess up your sandwich? Is that what you're trying to call it?
Well, no, there's another story there.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, right across the street from the Granada, which is a major hub here for the first few days, because of the player check-in, because of the player meeting. We're just 2 blocks down from there right now even. But it's a really, really populated place that can be really busy. And I just thought, I wonder if they are like, nah, we know we're gonna get business anyway because there's so much traffic coming through there. And I was hoping that's not the case.
Well, to be honest, it's not Jimmy John's and it's not anybody specific, but there had been talks where we feel the sentiment is sometimes that we'll say, hey, we've got this level sponsorship, we've got this level sponsorship. Oh, we got to get the important stuff.
Oh yeah. Jack Lowe out of Kansas City has become an official podcast sponsor here this evening. Thank you, Jack. Are you gonna partake?
Yeah.
All right, cheers.
Because I think you didn't get any last night, right? So you're making up
No,
for last night.
none last night.
So
I got home safely.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to what I was saying is that we have had people literally not say, but we get the feeling that when we come to them and say, hey, well, this, TV show's coming up, we have this level, and they kind of like, well, we're okay, and they were in the past. And it's like, and what if they figured out, well, 1,000 people is going to be here anyway. But the thing is that the people that do help us out and sponsor us, they obviously get more recognition. We talk about them more,
yes.
And we feel that they reap the benefit. To pick one out, Radius.
Yeah, I was going to say any of the ones that I have no problem going ahead and talking about, like Radius. Go ahead.
Radius.
Yep.
I mean, they make discs, specific discs. They make a GBO ale. They do all kinds of different things to make sure that the disc golfers know about them. And I think that, sure, you could sit back and just say, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy what happens. But if you're a little more proactive, you're just going to get that much more. People love Radius. They love going to that place. So, and I think that's because JJ is plays disc golf, and he knows how to get out there and get his name out there, which I think is awesome.
Well,
so what are we drinking?
I have no idea. I think Jack, most of you know I'm not a real big beer snob by any means.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Cheers again, buddy.
Cheers. Oh,
there's your meme.
Wait, let's do it. You ready?
All right, there's your screenshot. They're giving me a hard time. Apparently, someone said I had beer last night. Do you recall?
I was watching and I wondered. But I thought maybe you're just in a good mood.
Honestly, everybody can guess what they want. Part of it was just being in a great mood. And I got to town, we had this long drive. We had a really warm reception over at Brickyard, which is no surprise. We got over there, got set up as quickly as we could to get things moving, so we thank all the Smashes for being patient, got things going, and then, it was very active, lots of people coming in, but part of it was just simply a good mood. And I had a few people reach out this morning like, oh, you hung over, you got I was way better than you guys thought. It was really good.
So is it bad to see if anybody has any questions or anything?
No, someone did ask.
Okay.
I asked that a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Someone had asked about. I'm sorry. I'm going to scroll up a little bit.
I don't drink a whole lot, so maybe here in a couple more sips, I'm gonna keep it real.
We're gonna keep it real. The
Keep
two
it real.
of us. Everybody wants you to peel my plastic. You probably saw that last night. So
what? Why? What?
it's here. If the right sponsorship comes along this week, this could get peeled. So I got this machine in May, right before Santa Cruz last year.
Right.
It came as a recommendation from Joe. I got this machine in May, and I just feel like, well, if it's plastic on there and it's gonna protect the cover. Now it just started peeling a little worse recently, so now it does look pretty crappy. I agree, but I felt like if it's on there, it's on there, but everybody's giving me a really hard time and they want a Rusco to peel it off. Everybody's giving me a hard time. Okay, I think I got lost in a question. Repost your questions. How about that, guys?
Yeah, send us some questions. I want
Give
to
us
answer a
some
few
new
questions.
ones, but they do want you to peel that off. Long Island iced tea dog? I'd be okay with that. Aaron likes the plastic, so thank you, Aaron. Someone had said, there was just a comment, it just said fitness, and I think that's
We are definitely the people that ask.
yeah, you want fitness tips? Right here. No, but I know you've been blogging a lot, and you've been talking about, and you've been posting about food and being very public about some of the transitions and the things that you've had go well for you and some of the challenges you've had. I'm in the same boat. And I as soon as I even saw that question, I hesitated, but then not, because I think, I know the position you're in right now. Like, not that anyone wants to hear or doesn't have enough excuses,
Right.
but you right now, especially we'll say in the last 30 days, you're on another level of stress and time management. And
Well,
I'm not trying to just lob up an excuse for you, but tell me that's gotta factor in.
It's a huge factor. I mean, not only are we getting ready for GBO, Glass One Open, the biggest event, the premier flagship event, but we're also taking care of, we have a business to run. We've got new products coming out. And then one of my goals with Jeremy, I told him, is I wanted to travel more just because I wanted to get more media exposure while we're traveling. So we're doing more traveling. For a while I was doing really good, going to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, working out, and then Tuesday, Thursday, doing cardio, and it was awesome. And then the traveling started, and that just really knocks off your routine. And I'll be honest, it's
Especially
hard.
the traveling, probably more than any.
Because when you're gone, you're thinking, okay, let's get a hotel with a gym. We'll do it. You do it one day, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, we've got to be at a players meeting to capture some footage. We've got to be somewhere at night, because when we travel, it's not to just have fun. I mean, it's a good time, and I love traveling, but you just spent money to get somewhere. You're going to take advantage of every hour to talk to people, to ask them questions about what's going on, get to know people and stuff like that. So I'm getting back to the room 7, 8 o'clock at night. Then if I'm doing any kind of vlogs, I've got to spend another 2, 3, 4 hours putting together a vlog, and then we got to turn around and do it the same day. And then when you get back, you've eaten food on the run, and you don't feel like getting up and go to the gym.
No.
It's a struggle, but I will tell you, I did have a moment tonight that it hit me hard. Some guy came up to me and said, "Hey man, you stopped the fitness videos and stuff like that. Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, things are going."
Yeah, I'm about to fitness fist in your face. Thanks for noticing.
But he said, "Well, no." But he said, "Well, I want to tell you that you inspired me, and I've lost 90 pounds."
Wow.
And I was like, "This guy." I'm sure I was just a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah,
but
sure.
To come to me and tell me that I motivated him to get better at his health and then I'm, I've got all these excuses and stuff. I gotta get my act together, and it's not just excuses. It's not just saying I'll just put it off. We're not getting any younger, Terry.
No. So I heard.
Any younger. So I gotta take. I just need to take it more serious. So yeah, the fitness thing is always on my mind.
What? I think you're a lot like me. You probably think about it every day.
Since I can remember.
Exactly, and I'm the exact same way. So you think about it, and it's a struggle to think, okay, what's going to be the next step, and just getting over that hump and getting going, and then sticking with it. And I'll admit, I was just saying as I was leaving town yesterday, I said to a friend, I said, I haven't had what I feel like is anything unhealthy in like the last 8 days I've been home or whatever it was. I didn't eat out, nothing. And I'm not a big guy that eats out a lot anyway, but I was very consciously watching what I was eating. I made it to the gym a number of times. I dropped a 45-pound weight on my foot, which
That's
I'm
not
surprised.
how you're supposed to do it.
No, I'm
You're
surprised I
supposed to
did
lift
not.
it, not
Put,
drop it.
exactly. It was funny because the only reason why I dropped it is because the night before I had focused on arms, and so when I went to pull it off, because I was going to do a foot incline or a leg incline, and I pulled it off the bar, and I just underestimated how much it was going to weigh, and then boom, right on my foot. I swore I broke 3 toes, but I didn't. But I was very conscious, and I worked really hard in the last few weeks, and then you hit the road, and you're like, okay, we got a 10-hour drive. Like, let's have practical snacks. Let's, all those things. And it just sucks because then you get here, and like you said, it's go, go, go. And I'm a guy who, I've got no problem working 18 or 20 hours in a day, but unfortunately, one of those is not carved out for fitness because you're so into doing the work that we want to do for so many people.
And part of the problem is that your brain is somewhat like a muscle when it comes to decision making. And when the moment you wake, you're making choices and decisions, and then come time to eat, it's so easy just to grab whatever's available. So, but anyway,
especially here, and I'll say, and not that Jimmy John's is the worst food in the world, but today it was like we were running. We went to Opie, we got back, we had to get to this, we had to set up for. We had to set up for here. We had to set up over at we had to stop by the warehouse. Right. You're doing a million things. It's like, well, Jimmy John's is known for being fast, like in and out in a few minutes. But I did find out, so here's the Jimmy John's conversation to really be had. They told Chad, one of my cameramen, he said, can I get the hot peppers on the side? So for those that don't know, I'm a number 11, no Tom, add Dijon, which is short for no tomato, add Dijon. That's how I went on a Jimmy John's kick at one point.
Apparently.
And I always get the hot peppers. And he said he wanted the hot peppers, and he said he goes, I can't put them on the side. This is an employee. I'm like, what? Why not? And apparently it's just a corporate policy. Because we're not charging for them anymore, we can't put them on the side? Thank you. That's exactly what I said. That's stupid. So Jimmy John's,
so
I want you to sponsor us, but I want you to change your policy.
Call it the Smash Box policy? So you're telling me he was going to give you the same product, just not on the sandwich, on the side.
And he, I guess he even said something about putting them on.
Do you think he misunderstood you?
Well, first of all, it wasn't me, but no, they just said he wouldn't do it.
Wow. That's not great.
So if somebody knows something I don't, I know someone who works at corporate Jimmy John's actually. I'm going to ask her, and then there'll be an update. All right, let's get to more questions. Do you film the after hours type stuff? Do you film that completely alone?
Okay, so the after hours at the warehouse is something that I thought about doing, just a kind of a different way of telling people about new products and some things that, up and coming releases. Yes, I do it all by myself.
Okay.
Partly because as goofy as I'm acting in some of those videos, it's easier to be goofy like that all by myself.
Okay.
And then a lot of the times, I have a little bit in my mind what I'm going to do, but a lot of it starts happening as I'm doing it. And I don't want to be in the middle of something and someone say something and kind of ruin the shot.
Yeah.
Type thing. But I love doing that type of stuff. It's so fun. I'm glad that people really enjoy it.
I'm definitely envious of the fact, and we've talked about this in the past, I'm very envious of the fact that you get to produce this content. You work very hard to do it, so it's no downplaying it. You work very hard to produce content, but you get to focus on specific tasks, and you have a whiteboard, and I know you fill it with a lot of ideas, and then you kind of execute off of that, but you get to solely focus on that. But at the end of the day, you're getting a paycheck, like a guaranteed paycheck, and that is really great.
I am not, oblivious to the fact that I know that there's other people in disc golf media that are trying to make it, and I've kind of hit the lottery per se in disc golf media, and so the only way I can look at it is to say, okay, well then I'm going to do the most I can with it. So absolutely, yeah. I don't have the Monday blues. I love coming to work. And I'm thankful every day. I thank God that I've been able to be put in this position. And I wish this for other people. That's why when you're doing stuff, I get motivated. I want this for you. I want this for Jomez. I want this for Central Coast. Obviously I can't just go, Jeremy, let's give these guys all the money. I can't do that. But I want to do what I can within the boundaries, because I want what's happening to me to be for you guys. Because I know the more you guys do it, the more disc golf grows, the more dynamic disc grows, and the more that I can accomplish the goals I have for my life.
Well, it's very cool to see, and the fact that you're exactly right. I feel like you're really blessed. Now, you've said on the flip side of that, there's a couple of downsides, which are maybe a little bit more minor, so to speak. Okay. But one of the downsides being, you're within the confines of DD and Latitude and the trilogy, kind of concept. That's where your focus is. And it's great because you're killing it in all of those areas, but you're also, I don't want to say it's tunnel vision, but it's definitely more focused.
Sure.
And that limits you a little bit.
A little bit, but I think I've come to embrace it and just know that that's just what I do. But there's times where I'm at a big event and I see everybody, you guys get to hang around all the big guns, the big names and stuff like that, and I've got to go over here and take pictures and stuff with DD. Not that I don't like doing it,
of course,
but I remember when I was just Cool Daddy Slicker and trying to grow that business, I was in the mix of all the big names. I was with Disc Golf Planet, and whenever they had the lines that cut off other people, I could walk over that line and just be right there. Even if I wasn't filming, I would just go over there and I'd be 10 feet away from Paul Macbeth watching the action because I could. Now I've got to play it a little bit of careful. I still kind of sneak that in there.
Yeah.
I still, because people know who I am, so I kind of sneak in there and do that. But yeah, that is definitely something that I sort of miss every now and then.
Yeah, and again, there's some trade-offs to it, and I know you wouldn't trade it for the world because you've really honed in on that. Obviously, your fans and all your followers and supporters have really attached to that. You and Eric really enjoy. Where does Eric's? I don't want to say. Where does his background come from? How does he fit into the mix? Was he just naturally kind of became another? I don't want to say addition, but he's just such another core component of so many things that you work with. That's all natural out of Eric? Because I remember I can think back to the first time I met Eric, and it was Eric and Liz Lopez were an item back then. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I started doing a little bit for DD, and I remember approaching both of them, and me and Eric just hit it off. The way we joke around, the way we talk about things and stuff, we just seemed to hit it off. And I remember we went to lunch, we were in Louisville, we went to lunch, me, Liz, and Eric, and I looked at them and I said, you guys, I want to do some big things in disc golf media, and I think you guys have the knack to do it. I think I want to work and I want to do some videos, and Eric, I think I want to do a bunch of videos with you, and he was all for it. And Eric, I gotta say, Eric has been a vital part to my success because in the beginning he would tell me, make some t-shirts and I'll wear them. Sure.
He would tell people, hey, Cool Daddy Slicker is here filming, I'm going to be in his video and stuff like that. And it just seemed like a natural for him to be a promoter in disc golf and then a promoter in media. And then of course the Disc Golf Answer Man podcast, he was a natural because he's so willing to answer people's questions and help people. So I thought, well, let's do that in a podcast format. And we just have a good chemistry. Yeah. We play well off each other. We laugh. we kid around the same way, and just have a good time. I don't know that I could, I couldn't think of anybody better to do projects with me than Eric McCabe. It's just that. I mean, when we got to do a video, we'll kind of run through a script and we'll talk about it, and then he'll say, okay, how do you want me to do it? And I'll say, okay, this one you're going to talk about this, then you're going to look this way, then you're going to say this, and he'll go, okay, so I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and we're like, okay, go. And then like 2-3 takes later, we're good to go.
Got it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
No, I know how you feel. Something happened. I know exactly how you feel. I'm the best thing that could have came along for Johnny B. And I'm totally kidding. All right, let's get back to some questions.
Like you guys, good chemistry. You play well off each other. Of course, you've known each other for years and years and years.
Sure.
But again, it's just one of those things. It's just good. You're comfortable with him. You can talk. When he talks, you stop. When you talk, you know what I mean. You know how to play off each other, and I think that's a perfect combination. And that's why Smashbox has been able to elevate the way they have.
Well, thank you. So let's go to what is a good starter camera for recording rounds? Brian, I don't know if we'll give you a moment. Brian, tell us roughly what rounds you're going to be covering, and give us at least a price point, whether it's
Right,
200,
yeah.
600, or 1,500. Give us a price point, and then we can kind of.
Right, because a lot of people will text me and they say, I'm looking to do some disc golf media. Give me a good budget camera. Well, a $10,000 might be a budget for somebody. I don't know what budget means to you. So, and here's one thing that I'll point out without giving you specifics. Don't worry about getting the fancy equipment. Ask Terry. You know what I'm saying? You make
right.
do with what you can get. You
Yeah.
buy what you can afford. You figure out how to make it work, and you do it. It's not the quality. It's the quality of the camera. It's the content that you put out. People will forgive okay video as long as it's good quality content. So don't worry so much about which camera you're going to get. Yes, you want something that does HD at least 1080.
I don't know if you could buy one that doesn't anymore.
Sure, that's a good point.
Maybe.
So I think, honestly, if you're just thinking how much do I need to spend, I bet you could spend $300 on a halfway decent camera, find you a tournament that people will want to watch, find you some names that people want to watch, get out there and do a few shots. You're going to get the criticism. We all get it. I still get it. And I've been doing it for years.
It comes from me, one of my fake accounts.
Exactly.
I got dozens of fake accounts
And
that control
I'm
you.
not perfect, but I still get criticized. You're going to get people that criticize. You're going to get some people that don't like it, but you just keep pushing it out, and you keep getting better. And eventually, either you're going to be really good and you're going to get better, or your stuff's going to suck and you're just going to have to face it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. You absolutely are.
So-
I think that's a great point to go on. And Rob on the board was absolutely right. I started with a flip cam. I started. Jeremy Rusko in the house.
Cheering us on.
I started with a flip cam because that's what I had. I literally had. I read a book about social media, and I had a flip cam, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll see how this works. I didn't even know what external audio meant at the time. So I started with that, and then after 15 or 20 or 30 vlogs, I went to a Canon Vixia.
I had a Vixia.
Which is about a $300 to $400 camera at the time. And then after having that for a good 100 or more vlogs, maybe 200 vlogs, I then invested when I learned what XLR inputs were. And the Vixia had an external mic, a hot shoe, so that you could actually have an external mic. But then the Canon XA10 was the next one I went to with 2 XLR inputs. And then from there, I learned.
I remember, and I've told this story before in your show, but I want to tell you. I remember I'm sure I was working on a DD tournament, and I saw Disc Golf Guy Vlog 1 or something like that, and I watched it, and I was like, God dang it, this is what I want to do. And this guy's doing. I'm like, who is this guy? What is he doing? What's his story all about? So it was kind of cool to find out later on that you were just doing what I was doing. You were just grabbing a flip cam. You're like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go out there and do it. And I was like, okay, good. He wasn't just somebody that he's learning like I am.
Yeah.
And I think you just gotta do it. You just gotta grab a camera and do it.
You do. So Tom keeps asking, Huge smash. He always is talking about, he says, Terry, will you play Cool Daddy Slick Breeze in a 1-versus-1 round and film it, play at Opie?
Oh, Opie.
Bring it.
Look, I'm not even gonna try to.
I'll let you pick the course.
Yeah,
How's that?
I'm not
what
even
course?
gonna try.
If we were gonna square off one-on-one, what course could we square off at?
I mean, I love.
Emporia or beyond?
I like Jones West. I really do. A lot of people don't like Jones West.
I've never played there, so there you go.
I am under no illusions that I can beat Terry. Terry, you've been playing a lot longer. You've been in this game a lot longer than I have, so I know you can beat me. But you're not going to look as good as me when we're out there playing. So.
No, I might not. That's true. You're right. But it would be fun. And for those that didn't know, last year there was a media round that took place. Matt, I know you're listening. Matt James has the footage. He started to assemble
what's up,
it.
Matt?
He shot the footage, which was a great volunteer effort on his part, so thank you, Matt. But I know he's got the footage from it, and hopefully we'll see that at some point as well.
What we got?
All right, what else do we have on here?
Send us some questions,
Johnny
guys.
was still listening. So.
I'm in the mood for answering questions.
Good quality content, that's right. Bobby keeping it real. And you want to, Ronald says, I have plans to film a couple of my buddies' rounds and edit it down to try it. Good. Schwebby wants me to get a haircut. I should go tomorrow. Maybe there would be a haircut sponsor. Hey, and real quick, before we get to the next question, thank you. Somebody donated 100 Swedish krona to peel off. That comes to about $11.42. I had to do the conversion here.
Should do 200 krona.
That's we're close. That's that got me thinking for a moment.
That's hilarious.
I do appreciate it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Peter Pan is being suggested. Hammond, is that a course that we should be attacking?
Hammond Park is a really good course. Nothing that you're going to have to just really rip on, but super fun course. It's got the baskets and the T sign. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. It's got the T signs and baskets, and I think we're going to put some pads out here in a little bit, but it's a brand new course.
I was going to say, relatively new then.
Yeah, brand new course. We played it the other day just to kind of get the feel. You know how you go out and play a course, get the feel for it. And it was just, it's one of those courses that's like, it's a Sunday afternoon. You might got some things to do, but you got about an hour and a half to 2 hours to kill, and you just want to throw some plastic. Nothing hard or anything like that. But it's fun and challenging.
Sweet. What do you use for audio editing?
For audio editing, I used to use, at the beginning, I used to use...
Audacity?
No. GarageBand.
Oh, okay.
Because I had a Mac at the time, and GarageBand comes with Macs. And then eventually when I got Adobe Premiere, the Creative Suite, I used Adobe Audition.
Ooh.
And I will tell you that when I went to the Adobe Suite, I hated it. I hated it because
it was so massive?
Right, it was so massive. And so many editing software right now does so much stuff for you already, automatically, and I got used to that. So when you move to something like Adobe Audition and you've got to do almost everything, it's like, golly, I got to do this, I got to change low. But then you realize that just gives you more power.
Exactly.
More
yep.
So yeah, Adobe Audition for sure. But Audacity.
Johnny V, yeah, Johnny V. So when we do our podcast, Johnny V records a version or does an additional, not version, but does an additional backup recording into Audacity as well. So we can pull it from the video side, but he likes to, if it's clean, he likes to go just with Audacity and breaks it down, and that's how we put it on the podcast.
Dynamic Disc has the Creative Suite
Okay.
subscription, monthly subscription, so Audition comes with that.
Yep.
So it's something I use. So.
Okay. Would you play on wooden baskets? They are so cool, I'm telling you, Trevor says.
I mean, why wouldn't I?
Why wouldn't I? Hey, damn it.
That's why you're so suggestive.
Yeah, I would. I think of where you're probably going to see those would be probably an exotic course in like a Hawaii or some other country, or trying to make do with what they have.
Now, would the chains be wooden, or they would be still?
I don't know.
Metal?
But whatever.
It would
If
have
it's
to
a
be
course,
metal.
if it's in an exotic enough place where that's even thought of as an option to have a wooden type catching device, whatever it is, I'd play on it.
Oh
Now, if you're just
I
broke,
don't know that I'd have it at GBO, but yeah.
no, if you're just broke and you have a horrible course in your backyard, no, I'm not going to come play those.
But when you film it, you wouldn't film it.
Johnny's clarifying a backup version with Audacity directly from the board. How many aces do we have?
0.
Oh my gosh, that's the wrong kind of donut.
I know. How many do you have?
50 or so.
No, really?
Yeah.
I don't have any. I don't have any aces. Do I need to leave now? Should I stop doing disc golf media?
I feel like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not going to brag about 40 of mine that might be under 200 feet or 250 feet or whatever. I'm not saying they're impressive necessarily, but I feel like you fall into one by now.
No, you think I accidentally get like I trip or something and it would. No, I've gotten close so many times, but I've never made that connection.
I feel differently about you now. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm never getting on the show again.
You might. A few more beers might get you there, but really, I'm just surprised because most people. I mean, we know there's a lot of golfers out there that some have a lot of skill, some don't.
Trust me, Facebook will know when I get an ace.
Would you feel any more or less validated with your first ace if it's recorded?
Yeah, that would be the thing is, the camera guy gets an ace and it's not recorded. There have been times where I've been out doing like casual practice rounds just to kind of be in the, having my disc golf game up. And I've had like, 50, 60 feet, putts. But it's like, I didn't have my phone out, no one's around. No one's going to believe me. But I'm like, I feel good about it, so.
Okay.
Of course, it doesn't happen a lot. So.
Ronald Harkey says, just play around with Big Germ. I mean, if that's not the most obvious solution.
I know, exactly.
What do you think of that phenomenon? Not Sports Center, which is also awesome, but just the Big Germ ace phenomenon. What do you think of that?
It's funny. It's cool. I think it's cool that he's embraced it.
Yes.
Rather than be sour about it. It's really cool that he's embraced it. Hopefully he'll get one himself soon. After all this, I'm sure he's had plenty of aces.
Sure.
But he needs to get one so he can kind of finally say, finally it's me getting on Sports Center and not getting everybody else on there.
What do we putt with? That question came in a couple times.
What do I putt with? Right now, okay, so here's the evolution of my putt. And I agree somewhat with what I've heard you and Johnny V talk about where, the putter isn't so much when you're putting with that you have to get particular about because you kind of, in a sense, you could pick up almost any putter and make it work for you.
Yeah.
But I have sort of changed my style. Before it was the judge, and then I was getting frustrated because my longer putts weren't. I couldn't get the judge there.
Yeah. Well, because they're a little too stable, finishing off early.
And so Eric was like, try a Ward.
Okay.
Sure enough, it got me a little more glide, so I was able to get there. But then I was listening to Paige Pierce, and she said she likes to putt straight on at the pole. That way, if there's an error, at least if you're off a little here, you still might grab some of the change.
Okay.
Whereas if I'm putting to the right or to the left, then if I'm off a little, then I may go right past it. So that makes sense. So I picked up a Swan 2, which is really nice.
Which is what Paige putts with.
Right.
Yep.
And right nice and straight. And then, of course, I'm excited for the Dynamic Disc Deputy that's coming out with the Trilogy Challenge.
Yep.
And it's a shoe. I've done some of the prototypes. It's super straight. And I really like that super straight, aim for the pole type putt.
Okay. And not that I play that often, but when I do, usually it's a KC AVR. I like them really, really smooth or slick even to a point. And it's just...
Now, why the KC one?
I love, because they're usually stiffer.
Oh, okay.
So I love the fact that it's stiff and a little bit more rigid. I grew up in Wisconsin where I watched Barry Schultz at the time throw really stiff. He kind of got into a pattern of really stiff AVRs, big beat AVRs. KC AVR is just a little bit more durable version of that. So he certainly influenced that. That's back when Innova was almost the only brand. Innova and Discraft are really the only brands. And so then I got hooked on a KC AVR, and I was sponsored by Discraft. I threw a Challenger. I've enjoyed that.
So let me ask you this. So when I got the Swans, I did get the medium plastic before I had the hard plastic, and I think when the Deputy comes out, I want to get it in a hard plastic. Do you think that makes it? I really like that hard feel to the plastic.
The reason why I love having a stiffer plastic is I feel like it's way more consistent.
Yeah.
So if you have a medium, and everyone's different definition of medium can be different, but when you have a softer putter or a medium putter and it's really warm out, I worry about like how hard do you press down, what kind of dimple are you making in that, not just cosmetically, but how far is your thumb going in, and then I feel like when I putt with someone's really soft putter, I find myself gripping it too hard and then usually yanking it. It's almost like I grip lock it. So that was another reason why I've always loved really stiff AVRs or whatever, because it seems like there's a consistency there that I can then duplicate, or I can count on, maybe is a better word. I can rely on that consistency. So, and I got to tell you, I feel like I could go into the DD warehouse and I'm sure there's 3 to 5 other putters. I ordered some Latitude daggers, for instance. Felt really rigid, and it's funny. Ricky and I used to give each other a hard time about our KC AVRs. He putted with now he's putting with his dagger, and when I grabbed that, I was like, this feels really good to me. I can see throwing this. What would and I know you get this question all the time, or these types of questions, but KC or an AVR, a stiff AVR, what in DD would be the closest to that? Is that a judge?
I would say, a judge seems to be the go-to one for people that are moving over to get more of the DD stuff.
Okay.
It's just a very versatile putter.
Okay. Yep.
So yeah, I would definitely say the judge.
And I know I've thrown a judge during some rounds at a shorter course a couple years ago. Actually, it was really early when they had come out, and a local gentleman had one, and I liked it, absolutely. And I say this all the time because my bag is now at least 3 to 5 years completely outdated. Like, I don't play. Yeah. So I don't, you guys release amazing plastic. All of the manufacturers release all this amazing plastic. I'm like, I still got the same 5 discs that I had 3 years ago or 5 years ago when I used to play. It's just, there's almost no point in me going out and being like, oh, hey, DD's released 6 new drivers. I need to go try all those, because I'm not going to get on a course where it's going to matter. Sure. So at the same time, that's kind of disheartening. What about plastic type? What's the firmest judge?
Well, see, some people think that the prime judge, the prime is very firm. Some people really like to say in the more like the training or something like that, it has a really good grip.
Okay.
But some people like the classic, which is going to be the harder plastic, because there's the classic blend, the classic soft, the classic super soft. So you've got all the way from the hard to the soft. So the classic is hard. I usually putt with the classic. I did have a prime Warden that I used for more of an approach shot rather than a putting shot.
Okay.
So more of an approach. But yeah, prime. Most times when I hear our pros talk about getting a hard plastic in the putter, it's going to be that prime plastic.
Which I think I've also felt, and I like to it. I mean, it's kind of funny when you have this. You have your preferences, and as we've said, you can grab almost anything off a shelf and go make it work. And I feel like I could probably do that, just the same. So tonight, huge news, as you guys maybe saw on the live feed. Jamie Rusko is now sponsored by DD. Congratulations!
We finally had a meeting and thought, you know what? He's been working really hard to get sponsored, so we finally decided to sponsor Jeremy Rusko on Team DD. The thing is, he's going to have to play some tournaments to maintain his status.
Yeah, he doesn't have time for that.
No.
So you've been traveling a lot more.
Yeah.
And I know that you and I kind of run in similar circles in terms of what we experience and what we see. But then even your influence, I feel like I've seen some influences from other YouTubers.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I know who. I'm going to guess who. How about that? Gary Vaynerchuk does a ton of stuff, just social media. Yeah. He's what really started my career in disc golf media. Crush It.
Right?
Yep. But then more recently, thanks to Miles Parkhill at Paragon, not that he wasn't a huge star, but Casey Neistat is one of the most interesting.
7 million subscribers.
7 million subscribers, one of the most interesting guys there is on YouTube. And I'm not going to say you copy him, but there's definitely a pattern and there's an influence that's seen there.
So the thing
Tell
is,
us about
yeah,
that.
No, absolutely. So the thing is that yes, if you were to try to label me and say I copy it, I would have to say yeah, I copy it. But here's the thing: if you look back at my old disc golf media stuff, I didn't do tournament coverage.
Yep.
I would go to, I would ask Jeremy, can I come to the tournament? And he would pay for my gas, and I would film and I would make highlights with music. I would make highlight shots, and then it eventually turned into tournament coverage. I would say probably 5 months ago, 6, maybe longer, maybe shorter, I don't know. It was actually Johnny that posted what was it? I was looking at drones, and he posted Casey Neistat's review of the Mavic. I think it was the Mavic. It was either the Mavic or the Karma. Anyway, one of those. And so he said, watch this guy did a thing, I think it's a cool drone you should get. I don't know if it was me or just on a disc golf media group that we have. So anyway, so I watched it, I thought, this guy's really cool. I like the way he tells stories.
Yeah.
I like the way he does things. I like the way he does stuff. And so I thought, I'm going to watch a few other of his videos. And I thought, I love the way he tells a story. And that's something that I try to do in my role is, I don't want to make just another commercial. I don't want to make just another ad. I want to tell our story in a different way. I want to tell people about our products in a different way. This is a cool way. Could I make this work with disc golf? So I tried it a couple times and people really liked it. And then I told Jeremy, I said, I really think I need to travel more so I can kind of show what we do, what our players do. And I thought this is an interesting way to put together a 7 to 10 minute video with some really cool music. And in my mind, I think it's sort of like a long Snapchat, because a lot of times people are like, man, you just go from one thing to the next. And I'm like, well, that's what happens on Snapchat. You're just thumbing through, so it's just a much cleaner, more polished Snapchat. I'm just showing you bits and pieces of what's going on, and it's just my way of showing you what's happening. So yeah, but the thing is that even if you look at Casey Neistat's stuff, I love his stuff, by the way. He didn't invent time lapses.
Of course not. Exactly.
He didn't invent drone footage.
He didn't invent, cool B-roll with music.
He didn't put the edits to the beat. He didn't invent that. But his style of doing it is very interesting to watch. And so I thought, yeah, I'm gonna start incorporating that into my stuff, and then eventually my style will come out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I thought of the same thing. Watching how he tells the story and the energy and the work that now I obviously, now when I watch anyone, whether it's the Central Coast or a Jomez or anyone, everyone's videos, I kind of know just how much work they did or didn't put into it. And that's everyone that's just started or someone that's been making videos for years. I now have some idea, and I'm like, wow, they did this, they polished this little thing with the audio or whatever. But when you watch a Casey Neistat, for example, and knowing that he had to walk to one spot to set up a camera to then really redo the shot because he's alone, there's a ton of energy and effort that gets put into it. Now, I'm going to make a disclaimer. I think Casey Neistat is, to me, and probably to Bobby, one of the single most interesting people you could possibly watch on a daily basis on YouTube. There is an element, though, of creative or of creator and technology to him. And if you're not into those things, you're not going to get as excited as you and I do. Like Casey Neistat to us, I don't want to say he's an idol, but to us, he's like, he helps, whether it's a blueprint or just an outline or an influence, he's all of that to you and I.
It's like the players that watch Paul Macbeth. They're the top of what they enjoy doing. So when I watch him and I think, man, this guy is just killing it, and it's what in a sense, what I want to aspire to. I think that's kind of what you're kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that it's something that we love doing, and this guy is doing it really, really well, and is successful at it. And so, yeah, I watch his stuff all the time. Now, what's interesting is that I've watched it with my wife a couple times, and now she's into it in a sense that she'll ask about the little girl. Yeah, how's the girl doing? Or she'll laugh at something they did, or she might be cooking, and then she'll say, wait a minute, what just happened? So
sure.
That's the thing, is that he does it in an interesting way, that people like to watch, and that's what I want to do. I want people to come to us and say, you're not just a disc golf company, you're real people. You do things like real people do, and then we just want to share it with you. We're not scared to share that with you and show what we do. And then, of course, I just have fun doing it and being silly. So.
Well, and I got to admit, as much as I've watched Casey, and then I see, some of the things that you've incorporated, I've wanted to do similar videos, and now I'm already worried, as funny as this is going to sound, I'm worried people, when I come out with a video, I'm worried somebody's going to be like, oh, yeah, way to go, now you're copying Bobby Brown, and I'm like, well, not exactly, and I'm not saying I'm trying to do exactly any one style, but if you're really into stuff, you may see the similarities.
Well, and that'll happen at first, because it happened when I put my first one out that was very similar. Someone said something about stealing from Casey Neistat, and it was my point. I was like,
might have been me.
I was like, he didn't invent time lapses. He didn't invent all this. He's just really good at it,
yes.
And he's really well known. Yeah, at the time, 5 million subscribers. Sure, somebody's going to be into disc golf and watch my stuff and think this. But again, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
Terry, you just got to do it.
I was telling my cameraman as we went on the Arkansas trip, and I know this is going to sound really dumb. Here's where I'm going to keep it real. I have an apprehension about talking to a camera
There's people around
in public.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll use a great example, and Casey kind of does it, but it just in general. I'm on a lot of planes as well, and it can be a really cool story, whether it's your whole terminal or getting on a plane or whatever. I have an apprehension about walking down a terminal past all these different gates, and there's hundreds of people around, and having basically in selfie mode, whether it's a camera, a good camera or a camera phone, having that in selfie mode and addressing it while walking through public. So as much as I'm, broadcast to thousands and can do a podcast and can do these things, I'm apprehensive about just doing it in the general public.
I was too, but now I'm just like, screw it. I'm gonna.
Okay, so how did you get over that?
It was just one of those things where I would wait until there's not very many people around, and I would turn around and turn the camera on me and just start talking. And then eventually I would do it while I was walking, and then every now and then I'd notice people watching me, so I would put the camera down and I'd wait until again there's not that many people around, or I'd do that part in a corner or somewhere where people can't see me. And then eventually I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. People take selfies all the time. People make fun of people, but people do it. And I thought I'd do it. And then after a while, people might look at you and then they go about their business. And then I know that the thing is that there's times where I've gotten home and I'm trying to put together a video, and I'm like, dadgummit, I should have done it because that would have been a perfect segue to something else. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. So now, just the other day, yesterday, I was in Brickyard 20 and everybody's partying. I put my camera, turned it on, started talking to it about a disc, and people were going, what is it doing? And I was like, what am I going to do?
You're working.
Yeah, I'm working here.
I'm working
over here.
I'm working over here.
Yeah, and I think that as video becomes more prevalent, my gosh, the thing you can put together with your phone, the level of editing you can do with your phone, there's going to be more and more people sharing their lives. So why not be amongst the first people? And so when I started doing this, you're right. People are going to look at your stuff or other people's stuff and think, oh, you're just copying Bobby. That was kind of the thing. I need to hurry. I didn't see, I knew Macbeth had his blogs. I knew Eagle was doing it. But nobody, I think, was doing it super polished like I wanted to do.
Correct.
And so I thought, I need to just do it and get it going so that when this vlog thing starts really taking off for disc golf, I'm already in the mix of it. And hopefully that's going to happen.
And it's funny, when you talked about your start of doing coverage or not doing coverage, in fact, highlights with music, my start was really highlights and then an interview at the end. And I know it's not as exciting, and I should have went with, I had eventually put in some music, but it was usually cheesy and didn't work out that great. And then we got to a point, I went to the Memorial one year, it wasn't being broadcast live, and I went to the Memorial and I was like, all right, I'm gonna film every single shot and we're gonna put this together, because other people started doing it and people really enjoyed it. And I always thought, I'm not gonna film every shot, like, Who cares when someone throws a 200-foot approach shot and puts it next to the basket? Who really cares? But that clearly was the evolution of where we've gone, and now we see, Central Coast and Jomez and the disc golf guy on any given weekend are doing just that, giving you full round coverage. So, full round coverage is something you got to, but then in getting with DD, you then stepped away again.
I'll be honest. Tournament coverage, like full-on tournament, is not my favorite thing to do.
I hear you.
It's not. I like more the creative stuff, the marketing type stuff. So I always give my hats off to you guys, to Jomez, Central Coast, or anybody who wants to do it, because it's just not something I prefer to do.
Yeah.
But I know people love it.
I hear you. All right, so another question that was, where do you get the music? Which is a great question. I think I've even asked that.
I got a Casio keyboard.
Yes, and you just and you start a beat, and then you record it, and you start another beat, and you just play along.
No, that's actually a really good question. So I started out getting music from just YouTube.
Free YouTube.
Free music. Yeah. I don't know if you have to get to a certain level before it opens up for you.
I don't think so. I think anyone could go out and find. If you go to your YouTube page or just Google it, you can find royalty-free content that you're allowed to use on YouTube. Sometimes you have to recognize the people, sometimes you don't, it depends. But you can find completely free music. Any music that's ever been in one of my videos, up until this point thus far, has all come from YouTube. Some of it's great, some of it not so much.
Yeah, so the YouTube, now I did early on in Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, there was a place called digitaljuice.com.
Yep.
And they had some music that I would buy, royalty-free music there. But then I went to YouTube, and then as I was showing Jeremy, I was like, people really like this blog type stuff. And at first, what I love about Jeremy is he's frugal, he's very penny wise. It's a little frustrating sometimes, but I can appreciate it as someone that's running a business that pays my bills.
Exactly.
So, he was hesitant to pay for music, but eventually I told him, you got to have the right beat, you got to have the right song, and you can't keep using the same one so now I go to audiojungle.net. I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Yep.
Actually, the whole thing is called Envato, and they've got videohive.net where you can get templates for promos and stuff like that. Then they have audiojungle.net where basically you can pay anywhere from $2 to $39 for a song. You're going to pay average $15 to $19 per song, but it's going to be a well-produced song. And so it's an investment. Now there's another one that you and I have chatted about, I think. Art.io, I think it's called.
Yeah, that one I've seen because another popular podcaster or vlogger that's where I saw it in one of their videos. They recognized it, and then that's when it kind of came across me, and I think you and I talked about it. I think, again, Miles Parkhill from Paragon, he talks to someone, and he came across one, and I just signed up for their service.
What is it?
I don't even remember, and said, here's the funny part, I signed up for it. You get the first month free, or you can have a free trial month. Just the other day, I got an email that said, your trial month is up, now you're going to get charged, $10 a month or whatever it is. And I was like, oh my God, it's been a month. I signed up for that thinking I was going to download a bunch of music, and I was going to start doing some different videos, and I've yet to use their music. So it was like a kick in my own ass that basically said, hey, go out and start creating some more content. So I'll have to look it up for you, but I know I just got an email from them, and actually I believe, no, because I remember looking into what Casey Neistat and some other popular vloggers were using, and I didn't understand the platform, so I skipped SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So I skipped, because I was like, can I download these? What can I do with those? Nice mini. What's that?
We're on 7.
Oh, I don't know where hole 7. Oh, right there. Okay, hole 7's right there.
Real life, folks. Real life. We're here to bring you real life.
So I didn't understand SoundCloud. Does that sound dumb, ignorant?
No, I didn't understand SoundCloud at first either.
Like, I think you can like stuff and kind of save it, but how do you get it?
It's kind of like it's almost like, it's very similar, like it's a social network in a sense for people that like music. You can like songs, you can make comments on songs.
Yeah.
Some artists.
How do I get to use them? Download and use it.
What you do is there's a section where you sign up, and then when you search for songs, you tell them I want songs that that the artists allow me to use.
Okay.
And what you do is some of them make you pay, some of them say just mention them.
Okay.
And then some of them like will have 20 songs and you have to subscribe to listen to it, or they'll say, okay, here's 2 or 3 that I don't care if you use as long as you mention my name in the description.
I was fully lost, and I logged into that site no less than 5 times, and I'm still like, I was liking things, but I didn't know if I was adding them to a playlist or if I could possibly download and use it. I was just thoroughly lost.
Yeah, so, but the other one I was mentioning before is called art.io, I believe.
Yep.
And it's $200 a year, and you get access to their whole library of songs. And they have everything from hip hop to folk to country to ambient to electronic music. So, you know, I really rely on that heavy beat music just because it makes it a real interesting edit when I want to get kind of different with the edit. I know a lot of people ask about the style. What I do is I usually look up the term chill hop.
Chill hop.
So it's like hip hop, but on a more chill level, and that seems to be that hip hop beat, but the more the keyboard and stuff like that.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, so, and then again, I give all the credit to Miles. I have become a member of epidemicsound.com.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, and it seems really nice. I know there's other vloggers and people that are using it.
I'll look that one up.
It looks great, and again, now I have a subscription after my 30 days have run out. But I do have this subscription because I'm committed to the idea of getting more videos out there that have, you know, good sounding music.
I think you should.
And you know, the
It's
whole
a
you
lot
get
of work.
yeah, and you get what you pay for is definitely a true statement.
That's the thing, is you do get it's you know, a lot of people out there that want to do this stuff. It's expensive, and at first, it's going to come out of your pocket.
Yeah.
But it comes down to how much you believe in it and how much you want to do it.
All right. Brian G says what Bobby is doing right now is awesome. No other manufacturer is doing it, and it's great. I've said that before.
And I appreciate
again,
that.
you have you've put yourself in that position. You've gotten the support from DD, and you get to love and embrace what you do every single day. And in my opinion, that's what is, you know, a major factor in setting DD apart from so many others. We know. I'll call out all the other manufacturers, whether it's Innova or Discraft or whomever. Every other manufacturer could be putting more focus in some of that content, and I'm just surprised all these years later they're not.
Yeah.
And you continue to kill it in that space.
And you'll recognize this chant or sentiment because, you know, there was a time I would look at Spin TV and they put together some really polished stuff. Spin TV does.
And they'll continue to do so. Yeah.
They'll continue to do so. But and I thought, you know, I don't know that I'll ever get. I mean, I have the ability to do, but, you know, I look at it and I'm like, man, this looks so nice. I can't always make my stuff look nice. But something that Gary Vaynerchuk said, he said, work is the variable. And so I told myself, you know what? They may look prettier, they may look nicer, but I'm gonna
outwork them.
I'm gonna put
Hashtag
more work.
hustle.
Exactly. And I know it sounds cliche, but I told Jeremy, in fact, and maybe this is saying more, but I told Jeremy I have a salary in my mind that DD will be able to afford to pay me. And I'm going to make that happen. The only way I can is that's through media. And so every time I get home and I'm tired and Game of Thrones is on, do I want to, is watching Game of Thrones going to get me to that salary?
Nope.
Or is answering an email for about an hour before I go to bed, answering emails going to get me there? Nope, answering those emails.
Well, that's exactly
and
right.
That's the motivation, is that, you know, playing Call of Duty for all night with your buds and then griping because you can't afford to go on tour or you can't afford disc golf media, I'm going to outwork you.
Exactly.
I'm going to be the one putting in the work when you're watching your videos or playing your videos.
Or
I'm going to be working.
Or as Gary likes to say, when you're out, you know, doing the softball league or whatever,
Yes.
You know, we all have those choices. We all have the same 24 hours. It's about how you use them, when you utilize them, and you know, Gary, of course, works very hard, and I think the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I'm flattered by the compliments that I get, and I always just think, you know, I'm not the best at what I'm doing, but no one is going to work harder than me at what I'm doing.
And that's why when people go, we want to do live, where do they go?
Yeah, well, thank you.
They're going to go to Smashbox.
It's a lot of fun. So, and when you get to do what you love,
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
of
it's
course
still
it-
work,
yeah, oh, yeah.
but it certainly helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would be putting in these kind of hours if I was still at the credit union. You know, opening
And there you
accounts
were
and
doing
stuff.
opening accounts. I was going to say, what was your primary role there?
I started out opening accounts, and then I wanted to get into computers, and then they had a job opening where we had just got a new website, a new system, and they needed someone that was a little tech savvy, but had worked with the public and knows about accounts.
Okay.
So I was the first line of defense if someone was like, I'm trying to do this new thing online, I'm just trying to transfer money, I'm trying to do this. So I knew the process of helping members, and I knew the process of the website. So I moved into that, and then about a few years after that, that calling of media just came. Because I was at a church and I would do media stuff, and everywhere I went, I ended up media.
Okay.
And so I convinced them to let me buy a video camera, let me buy a tripod and some mics, and I started doing training videos.
Okay.
So that kind of kept me in the whole. I learned as I did. I didn't have any kind of teaching. YouTube was my teacher as far as media. So
And it still can be today.
just the other
Anything
day.
you want to learn
Just the other day.
anywhere,
What
just
did
go
I wanna
YouTube
do?
it.
I wanted to do something with transparency or something like
Sure.
that. Sure enough, how do I make this transparent in Final Cut Pro?
Yep.
Boom, there's a list of ways to do it.
Exactly.
Don't tell me you can't figure out how to do it.
It is there. So someone's asking, where is Doug? Doug's running around doing all his stuff. I saw him in a couple different places today. I didn't see him here tonight, but he's wearing the TD hat, doing a million things. So Doug's out there working it hard, I'm sure. I just got another message here from Simon Lizotte saying that he forgot his long sleeve here at the bar, and I'm going to grab it for him.
Was he here on here earlier?
No, he must have been. I know he was playing pool,
yeah.
and then he said something about leaving his long sleeve. So we'll grab that for you, Simon.
I'm
Not
so
a
glad,
problem.
Simon, that we were able to be on a podcast live for you so you could check on your jacket.
We'll make it work there for you, buddy.
Terry's putting in all the hours to make sure that he can be coat checked for you.
That there's a trade-off because there's an occasionally a time.
I know, Simon's awesome. He's a good guy.
Not only that, but I'll get out to a course
He's a good guy.
and I'll be like, you're being tested to throw here.
Oh, here we go. Maybe this will be my first ace.
Oh my gosh.
Oh!
That was a good shot.
That was so close.
That was a good shot. I was gonna say, there's been times where I have all this equipment and I may or may not have, a backpack, or I don't want to carry a backpack just for, a couple batteries.
Yeah.
And I'll turn to a Paige Pierce or I'll turn to a Simon Lizotte and be like, can I just throw like this extra battery in your bag? And they're thinking, F you, here's the media guy trying to cover and carry your own stuff. But our pros are very, very gracious with us. YouTube is the modern day Library of Alexandria, that Johnny V says. Good call. Oh, they're bidding now on Simon's shirt. 15, 20, 25. Simon, I will sell it on you. I don't care. No, I didn't see it, Simon. Sorry. What's Bobby? That's Bobby's longest throw ever right there?
No. It's not my longest throw. It's one of my best.
It was one of your
throws.
most accurate.
Yeah, one of my
that was
most
spot
accurate.
on. Give
One of
me,
the best ace runs.
We'll start wrapping this up soon, but give me a very common misconception.
You don't need no.
Give me a common misconception about you or DD or your work, any one of those things. Plenty of open space there. But what's a number, like, what's a very popular misconception?
Well, I mean, just recently when we brought Anthony on to help with the media, I mean, he said he'd been here about maybe a week or two, and I just kind of visited with him to see how it was going and stuff. And the biggest thing he said was, I didn't realize how big we were, how big DD was. And so, a lot of people see me in front of the camera, and that's on purpose. We put Jeremy in front of the camera. For the longest time when I started, I think people thought Jeremy was the only one that did stuff. The way they asked him questions. And so I think people don't realize, people will ask me, hey, do you have any white 172 shares? I'm like, I'm over here editing a video. I don't know what we have.
Fair enough.
So, but I'm okay with it. It's not a big deal, but it makes me chuckle. So the biggest misconception is that, we got 50, 60 employees. And they are the one, like I said, I'm in the camera, Jeremy, Eric Cave's in front of the camera, but without the guys that are the accounting people, without them doing the stuff, without people like Chris Edson doing, product management or, stuff like that, without Tyler Searle, Chris Wiggins, John Ray going out on the road, without Justin and Pete and, these guys pulling orders after they've had a couple classes at college. After that, if they're not there, we're not making it. So I think a lot of people don't realize that how big of an operation we are when it comes to dynamic discs.
And I think back, funny you say that, I think back to my first time here 3 years ago and thinking you were like 30. I mean, once I got here, I realized you guys were like 30 or 34 or, less than 40 employees. And now you just said 50, 60, like just that continued growth.
Yep.
And just a ton of people here. I walked into the warehouse today. I came in one of the doors that I'm used to kind of coming in. And then I opened up a second door. I got into the warehouse, kind of by the receiving dock, I guess. And then I opened up a door to what I thought was going into like the kitchen area that I'm kind of used to. And all of a sudden there's a wall there. I'm like, wait a minute. I feel like a mouse in like a maze. Like, did I just make a wrong turn? But there's been some construction and some restructuring.
Just some adjustments made, more specifically to my area because, we're recording podcasts. Filming and we needed to be as quiet as possible. So we made some walls to kind of help keep us, in our own little room.
Aaron wants to know, how many hours do you work? Which is really, that's going to be tough to answer because you're working even when you go more so when you go on the road.
Yeah. As soon as when I wake up and the alarm goes off, I pick up my phone and I check Facebook. I go take a shower, I get to work, I'm starting working. When I get off at 4 or 5 o'clock, I go home, I have dinner, and then I usually have my laptop in my lap and I'm answering questions or answering emails or giving feedback on new products and stuff like that. I would have to say if you put it all together, at least 12, 14 hours a day on average. That's just solid work. Now, of course, when I travel, I'm listening to a podcast. I firmly believe in constantly growing and figuring things out. So, that's what's nice is that in my job, I love learning about my job.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I do, I love learning how to do it better.
Exactly. And that's where, I've been watching a Casey Neistat while I'm on an elliptical or something like that. And I am killing two birds with one stone. And I know you've done the same, where you're watching, some of these people and you're learning and you're tying it now, at that point into your fitness or whether you're traveling or whatever. It's, labor of love is a term that gets thrown around. But when it's all said and done, you're working and you're trying to grow and you're trying to expand your knowledge and your brain and all those other things. Yeah. You could argue about, the extent of that. Some would say, oh, that's not, some would would argue about how intense that work is. But you're always trying to learn and grow.
But like you said, when you travel, you're up by 6, 7 o'clock and you're not done till 10, 11, 12,
Exactly. And everything he just said, I just shift a few hours later.
Yeah.
I am very much, I may not get up till...
Yeah, because you're kind of a night owl.
I'm very much a night owl, so I may get up at, 9 or 10, but that's only because I went to bed at 4 or 5. And so everything you said, again, you just...
Yeah, I've woken up before and saw text.
So, well, I know you got a long day. We all have long days. You have a very long day and a long few days coming up. We all have our different roles. I think we can start wrapping things up. Thanks for joining us. For me, of course. Fun. I didn't know. Just as a throwing it out there, I don't really have any official format for the next few nights. We want to have once the golf starts, there's clearly going to be their own storylines that are going to unfold. Whether it's someone that took that 8 out at Opie tomorrow, on a hole that they shouldn't have, or whatever.
Yeah, there's going to be some stories.
There's going to be a ton more specifics to really dive into over the next few days. But every night I'm going to be bringing in pros, going to be bringing in promoters. Somebody's going to have something, some big thing going on that's going to be great to talk to them about. Sponsors, advertisers, whomever. We're excited to do so. One quick plug for the Next Gen Tour. I know that they're going to be providing. They've come on board, and you're going to see, I think, a new commercial out of them.
Oh, nice.
And they're working on some stuff because they want people playing in that Next Generation Tour, and that could be its own podcast in itself. But get out, get signed up. Next Generation Tour is doing big things. They're giving away a car, which is very exciting.
That's a little bit.
I feel like that's going to be a story for you and I later in the year for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the fact that they're giving away a car. So very cool. Which one of you is going to finish the beer first? I am. All right, that's almost a tie. Uh-oh. Is this a production note? What's going on?
Yeah,
Just,
Lane is in.
I don't know. It sounds like a free plug. Lane is in. There it is. Lane is in. He's in what? I don't know.
Okay, that's
Lane
right.
is
I'm
in.
sorry. Yeah, earlier he was saying that he wasn't sure if he was going to get in, but he got into the event.
You're in?
Nice. Good
Nice,
job.
nice.
Nice.
All right,
Very
Lane's
good.
in.
There you go.
Congrats.
Just made that guy's hashtag GBO moment.
The hashtag GBO moment, make sure. All right, guys. It's been an awesome night. I want to thank Jay Ray for opening the show. He literally was walking by. He said hi to me. I'm like, hey, sit down. You're going to open the show with me. Bobby Brown came in probably to do more work and do some video, but I hope you guys enjoyed all the awesome insight. I think I'm gonna invite myself. We need to collab more on more stuff. You and I.
Yes. In fact,
Just generally speaking.
In fact, there's times where we've had, like we've called you before on a TD question, we've had questions, and I thought it'd be nice to call you real quick, get you on the show, and have you answer the TD
Whatever.
question. So yeah,
I'll
need
be
to
up
do
late
that.
if you call me. If you call me at 3 a.m., I'll answer.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank Johnny V, whose assistance I didn't really need tonight, surprisingly, but don't
Is
really.
he on right now?
He's on. He's been watching.
Thanks for letting me play with your 360 camera.
We're going to talk more about the 360 camera. We'll see some of that more tomorrow, thanks to Bobby and Johnny and a collaboration there. Next Gen Tour, thank you for supporting. Dynamic Disc, Bourbon Cowboy, also thank you for supporting, not the music, but not this music, not this song. But thank you guys for supporting. Make sure you log in tomorrow. Of course, Smashbox TV. You can find us there. You can find us on DD's page. We're going to be blasting it everywhere. The PDGA.com. There'll be a link right there on the front page, along with the live scoring that's taking place. Marty Gregoire, Michael Downs, all of those guys. Doug Bjerkis, Jeremy Rusko, myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We'll see you guys tomorrow when we're live for the featured cartage. We open up the 2017 Glass Blown Open. We're looking forward to it. We'll see you tomorrow night for my podcast. Till then, Bobby, Terry, we're out. Shoot, I didn't line up how to turn this off.